and textbooks talking about how all of the biblical characters in the Old Testament, none of them ever lived. It's just a story. That's why the Bible is called the greatest story ever told. It's just a story. It's not the greatest collection of facts. It's the greatest story ever told. And when you begin to see where these characters have come from, the King David, the King Solomons, and Muhammad, and my God, all the rest of these great religious people in history, and then you come to find out, no, the whole thing was all dreamt up by the secret societies coming out of Europe, the Knights Templars, the old Masonic orders out of Rome. The Vatican has been dreaming up religions for people for years, but nobody knows that.
I hope you read a book on this.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. I mean, where do you start? And nobody wants to hear this anyway. Nobody wants to hear that they spent their whole life supporting something that's been manipulated by a bunch of brilliant guys behind the scenes that are laughing at us. But that's the bottom line and what's really going on. And that's why today, with so much religion and so much spirituality supposedly out there on television, look at the world we live in. By their fruits you shall know them. So with all the religious...
Exactly.
Yeah. All the religious leaders jumping around the stage on TBN and Trinity Broadcasting, they're jumping around with their little effeminate hairdos and diamond rings and Rolex watches, and they're all dancing and singing. And
what is the main thing they preach? Send me your money so you can be saved.
That's it. That's right. Like George Carlin said, God is omnipotent, omnipotent, absolute sovereign over the whole universe, but he needs money. He just can't handle money. He needs some more money. And so,
I know.
Because he just can't handle money. And so
Gordon, you certainly are awakening people's minds tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's what the truth does. When, like I said, nobody wants to hear the truth. People want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear what they don't want to hear. And the truth is what they don't want to hear. A classic example, let me state here, that I have the highest of respect for the Old and New Testament when it's understood to be a philosophical, encoded message. If you don't understand that the Bible is an encoded metaphor, it's not an actual historical document. I've sat and talked with rabbis at the Simon Wiesenthal Center for Holocaust Studies. I used to continually have conversations with rabbis over the years, sitting for hours and listening to them and questioning them. One of my dearest friends was Rabbi Marvin Antelman from Newton, Massachusetts. A brilliant man, an incredibly wonderful man. Rabbi Marvin S. Antelman from Newton, Massachusetts. He wrote a couple of books. One in particular caught my attention on the Illuminati, and it was an extraordinary book, an expose on the Illuminati, how they are manipulating world religions. And I contacted him, and we sat for hours and were talking, and I sent him all kinds of documents on my research. He would send me all kinds of documents on his research as a rabbi. And, of course, he became a very important rabbi and went to Israel and was on the Knesset. And we were very close friends. So I've sat with the rabbis, with the teachers, with the Jesuits, with the theologians. I know what is going on. I know what these people are doing. I know what they're doing, and I know where they've got their stuff from. But it's very difficult to try and explain to people who are listening what has been happening behind the scenes that they don't know. And so, I don't even know where to start, because in order to tell people what's really going on, they're going to have to realize that their religions and their governments and their commercial systems, their educational institutions, are nothing more than a put-up job. It was an inside job, so to speak. And so 99% of what we know today is just not true. I mean, America is the most,
Okay,
I've always said that we are the most well-informed people on the face of the earth. Americans are. The problem is 99% of what we know isn't true. And when you start talking to people like Dr. Larry Boron and other scientists and physicists and Paul de Violette, Dr. Paul de Violette, and people who are really geniuses in science, and listen to them, I can give you a whole bunch of names that are just extraordinary minds. And they've got all the credentials, but when they're talking about science, scientists don't even know what they're talking about because you don't learn this stuff. I'm just amazed when listening to Dr. Paul de Violette when he's explaining the astrological signs, and he has all the credentials that a scientist could possibly get. It's a page full of credentials. And yet he is sitting and talking about the astrological symbols in relation to actual hard science. Why those particular constellations are called what they are, or the symbols that were given to them by the ancient and prehistoric people, and the mere fact, as he says, the mere fact that every single culture that's ever existed on the face of the earth has a zodiac. Every culture that's ever lived. Every kind of human being on the earth from all over the globe, for as far back as you can go, all have the same 12 signs of the zodiac. Now, what is that all about? Nobody seems to have been able to answer the question.
What's your take on that question?
I think that this has been hidden. It's been hidden from view for thousands of years. This kind of knowledge that I'm talking about now is on a need-to-know basis. And the governments and the masters of the human race do not figure that you need to know. So what they do is they tell you that looking into this kind of information about the symbols of the zodiac, where they have come from, why they were around 12,000 years ago, 15,000 years ago in France, in caves, they're finding beautiful paintings in caves that are 15,000 years old of zodiacal signs. So while we're thinking that the Neanderthal and all these ancient people were nothing more than hairy thunderers and animals, they're painting beautiful paintings in caves of the zodiac. And when you are true scientists, when you are intellectually informed, you begin to look at the real world, not the stuff that they're giving you in college and universities, because that's only Roman. I've shown that on my website. The colleges and universities come from the old Roman Catholic system of education. So as far as I'm concerned, colleges and universities, you're talking about the Roman Catholic Church, period. I don't give a damn what university it is. I don't care where it is. The whole concept goes back to ancient Rome, 3,000 years ago. So the entire system of education in colleges and universities, the word college goes back to the College of Cardinals. The collegia, the very concept of a college or a university. Unity in diversity, meaning Rome wanted to bring the whole world together. And they realized that the whole world was diverse. So Caesar and the Roman Empire decided to bring all the peoples together under one roof and make it one big, happy, insane asylum. And so they called it unity in diversity, or university. So university and college goes back to ancient Rome and the system of educating the people to do what Caesar wants them to do, and to think the way Caesar and Rome wants them to think. And, of course, we see today that 1/3 of the world just crawls on their knees to the Holy Father, which represents Rome. All roads lead to Rome. When you start breaking down universities, colleges, education, high schools, educational institutes, seeing their symbols, the emblems and corporate logos of universities and colleges, finding out where their money came from, who founded them, how they were set up, where the money comes from to teach in the scholarships. Oh, man, what a story. This story is absolutely outrageous. It's out of control. I mean, why do they
call it... Did you write a book on that?
No, I can't even begin to know where to start. I've been looking at this stuff for 50 years, and it's just mind-boggling when you see how far gone we really are.